Hello, my dudes. I'm here to give you some summoner PvP guide. Uh, I'm gonna go through with the talents, ruby stats, and spells, and why some talents and rubies are important. Why is summoner important? Okay, yeah. Let's go start with talents. So, what's important? Mainly life tap, health death, your main spammable spells, your dots, volatile virus, and yeah, these are important mainly. This life tap and half death are your spammable spells. Your dots you don't need to apply yourself, except virus is the important one. Blood Ages is your defense. Puts up 6 stacks of Blood Ages, and every time you get direct damage, it's gonna give you 2 seconds of defense. So it's really good, 15-second cooldown. It's not like other classes you might have longer cooldown but better defense overall, and it won't be defense, because defense is removable by vulnerability. And then there's a fear, of course, is important. Blood Ties is the only heal I have in this build. Heals 25% of the target's missing health, so you can use it on allies or yourself. But it damages a bit also. So when I'm on whatever this is, 50% HP, it heals me a bit. It's like 4% heal. So it's really only usable when people are, I don't know, 20%, let's say, or lower. Took also rank 1 long CC. Good to have pre-casted sometimes and use it on someone at the start of combat, and if they don't get dispelled, they're like out of the combat for 6 seconds. Pretty good. Dark Veil, you can save some people, like when they're low HP, just use this. It puts you to 1 HP and you're immune to damage for 5 seconds. It's nice spell. But make sure to have some heals left after, or hopefully, of course, it's always better to live 5 seconds longer than just die. But also always better to heal. Like if you use this when you're 1% HP, you're gonna be up to 25% afterwards. Especially you can't take any damage when you're in Dark Veil, so it doesn't damage yourself anymore. Then this leash. Leash is pretty good. It does some good damage, but it does 3% more damage every 1% health you're missing. So try to use it when you're low HP, like below 50%. Like if I go damage myself a bit here, use the Nodami at 20%. Yeah, this is some pretty big hits. It will be less in PvP. And it also applies wounds and vulnerability for, I think it was 3 seconds, so like 10 seconds roughly in PvP. But it's really good damage. Just make sure you use some defense before casting this, because if you are 20% HP in PvP, you're gonna die for sure while you're casting this with no defense. Just use at least Blood Ages decoction. You can even use this this potion gives you 42% shield. Like this is good because I don't think it takes it into account. You have this fake HP kind of, but you're lower, so it does more damage. It's really good. Rank 2 Lurker, the only difference to rank 3 is the AoE damage. They take reduced AoE damage, goes from 70% to 90%, so your Lurker dies less likely in AoE. I don't really see my Lurker dying that much, so rank 2 is enough. And besides, I don't have any extra talents. So if you feel like your Lurker is dying, just take it rank 3 and you have the talents to spare. All these ranks are pretty important, I would say. Dark Palm is your tier skill. It does some pretty good damage again. I just use it, just another pet that hurts your target. Like, let's see what kind of hits it does. It's like 100k max, that's pretty good. Like it goes to 30k or so in PvP, but 30k extra damage per hit, and it can be higher. It's also AoE, but in a really small radius. Okay, rubies. Mainly important here is the plagues. These apply your dots. So this this red one gives virus, unlike this one, but it's single target and it costs a lot to use. Has decent cooldown. So this, like when you're focusing single target, put this and refresh with this, sure. But this is mainly AoE. Like you don't even need to use it on your main target. Just use it on someone that applies them to as many people as possible. So it's harder to heal, harder to deal with. And especially if you have a mystic or a scout, whoever that has pull, just if they're you can ask them to pull and then use this and use virus as well. So it goes dots as many people as possible. And for virus again, yeah, this ruby is pretty good. It like without this, virus only goes to your target and deals some damage around it. But with this, it spreads on rank 2. It spreads to 3 targets, and it takes 3 more blood. So yeah, it's pretty good. Like you should spam it in BGs and whatever, so it will go to as many targets as you can. And why? Because this ruby, it puts vulnerability and weakness by chance to targets with it. Let's see. It also slows because of another ruby I have. It's kinda low chance, sadly, but come on. Give me vulnerability. Okay, there. So, yeah. And vulnerability is super good because it removes defense from your child. Like engineer has the Domon or something else puts defense, or even a summoner has defense from himself, and they get vulnerability, it removes that. So, and it just increases damage taken. It's really good. And also why you spam life tap and Howl of Death. Well, this ruby gives you 45% chance to apply vulnerability for 4 seconds. So if you're spamming like this, they will always have vulnerability on. It's really good, and defense won't do anything. So I think that's all the main. Like the other ones are just, well, this one gives you Howl of Death, like this buff you see here behind the skills. It makes it cost only 1 blood. Like without this buff, well, I can't really show, but it costs a lot more blood. I think, yeah, 6 blood showed there. It costs 6 bloods without this. To be careful of spamming it, because if you don't have the buff for some reason or another, then you're gonna run out of blood, and then you can spam virus or your dots. That's not good. Okay, second ruby crate. These are a lot of stats here. You should take 3 stats, always good. This one is good, gives you 20% damage reduction. Reduces damage by your avid shadows, but it's just 1 dot. The defense is really good to have. A blood pool, it got nerfed a bit. You could take like less rank. It's not. It's only 10% damage reduction now and 10% less global cooldown. So it's not the best. It used to be 20 or even 25 before that. I'm not sure, but it's good. It's some extra damage. This one, when you're below 40% HP, it redirects the damage you take to your lurker. So it just, again, like it's pretty good because you can free cast your lurker again, and it makes you really tanky. So it's good to have. And this will be, when you drop below 40%, you can die for 2 seconds. Normally it's just extra time for you to cast Dark Veil. Or well, heal up anyone. It has 2 minute cooldown. But it's good. Good ruby to have for one ruby for this. Pretty good. Blood Feast. It's basically this is a skill just to get blood out of like you always go to 10 blood. So before combat starts, just get full blood with this. That's the main use of it. And yeah, you can't really. This is a better skill to take anyway to go for these rubies. It's this one. Step through the shadows. This is a good skill as well. It's a blink to your target, gives you blood, puts vulnerability for 12 seconds. So pretty good. Like if you have your scout or something pulling, and you don't have blood. Let's say you don't have blood at all, and scout is like pulling. Scout or mystic are saying, "Oh, pulling the target." Yeah, just blink the target, put some mass wounds. It's pretty good. And last ruby crate is just this. Gives you more blood overall, more blood capacity, 10% damage, 15% more heals. The heal part isn't important, you don't have much heals except this one anyway, so... Yep. Okay, I think that's all the rubies and talents, and some spells that are not in either one is this. Is pretty good. World Mystery Healing. Heals you 10% every second when you cast it for 5 seconds. It just... well, it's a good heal. Just use it to heal yourself or someone. And well, there was the other, this one. This Racial Healing. It's basically the same, except like the World Mystery Healing heals 10% of your max HP, of your own max HP. And this one heals 10% of your target's max HP. So if you heal someone else, this one might be better if they have more max HP. But anyway, it's just another save. And but it takes 10% of your own health. It's like transferring health between you and the target. And this is another racial. It sacrifices your lurker for 35% of your health. Like it heals you for 35%, I mean. And it's basically because your lurker is, if you cast it, you're low like me. 58%, just use it. 93, and lurker died, just recast. Easy. And it's basically just heal for blood. Pretty good. That should be all for all the skills. Maybe what else? Rank skill. I have Mage Flash. In general, it's good to have some sort of blink, because you only have step through the shadows on summoner. So glint or the priest rank skill, or Mage Flash. I think even the priest skill is better, but I don't have a priest rank, so I have Mage Flash. It's good to escape from some things, like let's say Paladin uses the tier skill and you want to get away from it. You can use Mage Flash or something similar. Okay, so one thing, just when you're dropping normally, when someone's focusing, you're getting lower. I like to use this Dark Veil with Blood Ties and the World Mystery Heals. It's pretty easy way, like let's say I'm dropping now, I just Dark Veil myself, use Blood Ties, use World Mystery Heal, and I'm gonna be back up pretty fast and just use some defense. And if someone's chasing you, oh yeah, this I forgot to say, this ruby makes dots slow your target, and also Howl of Death puts a slow on your target. So on Summoner, it's pretty easy to kite people. You can just spam your shit and run around. Easy as that. And even if you have dots, you can just use them if you can't cast Howl of Death, because no blood or something else. Okay, so stats have like this. Pretty simple. Well, I like to use proficiency more than brutality, because you're dotting many people and you're focusing one target. So the many people you're dotting will be full HP normally. So you do more damage with proficiency than with brutality. And the more damage you do on a raid, the harder it is to heal in general. And determination stacks up pretty nicely as well, because you are doing damage on so many people at the same time with virus. And well, some brutality, because why not? It's good to have some to counter their caution. Critical chance, it's good to have a bit at least. Summoner is not really critical dependent anymore. The only I found from rubies was this blood dice. If it crits, it gives you defense. So I guess it's good to have some critical chance. And also, if your target isn't running instinct, which reduces damage from criticals, your luck will be critical chance will be worth more. Dominance is good. It's really effective stat to have. You should have 750 in pretty much every PvP run. Just make sure to avoid allies. Don't be too close or you lose the damage bonus. 750 is the cap, so go for 750 or go for 710 because you have Victory Cross rank 1, so it will stack 40 plus. To know I'm a bit over cap, but yeah, pretty close anyway. Defensives, caution, like I said, 750 with this ruby that redirects damage to your lurker. It's really good. When you're low, you're gonna survive a lot longer. Just watch for your pet. If it dies, you're a lot squishier again. If you have blood to recast it, cast it and... Yep. Instinct you can use if people run crit. It's a lot easier to survive when you have instinct to survive there. And take less damage from criticals. You could also take survivability if you want when you're running with a healer, like Dominion, I'd say. Sacrifice some vitality or instinct for it. Like, at least run like 300 instinct, I'd say. It should be stats, so I run with these artifacts: Aspis, Cross, and Crown right now. Just Cross and Aspis are the mandatory ones you should always have. The third one is you could have the support artifacts, Unity Truquetrum, because it has the rank 2 passive that when you do damage on target they get less healing, and you're doing it on multiple, so it's even harder to heal. And yeah, and rank 5 was similar, but the enemies get a stack that makes them take less damage. So it's pretty good. Okay, that should be all of all the skills and stuff I showed. But remember, this was just an example of how the skills work. They work same in PvP as they do here, but just to show you clearly on a dummy. So, well, yeah. Hope this helped, and maybe we'll see you in game. See ya.